But it is a very important issue, and it has impacted the lives of millions of workers in this country. What I realized from the first day that I got into Congress back in the early 1990s is that these trade agreements were written by corporate America, and I'm talking about NAFTA and CAFTA and permanent global trade relations with China. They were written with the sole purpose of being able to allow corporations to shut down in Vermont and Indiana and move their jobs to Mexico and China and other low-wage countries. And what has happened in this country since 2001 is that almost 60,000 factories have been shut down. And millions of decent-paying jobs have been lost. Now, right here in Indiana, you're dealing with a real crisis right now. You got this carrier corporation owned by United Technologies. You're right. And what this corporation is doing is taking 2,100 workers earning a decent pay and 2,100 families and saying, sorry, thank you for your decades of work, you're out of here next year. And we are going to be moving your jobs to Monterrey, Mexico, where we're going to be paying people $3 an hour. Now, this is a corporation whose greed exemplifies exactly what is happening all across this country. A couple of years ago, they let go, United Technologies, that now owns Carrier, let go of their CEO. And while they let him go, they said, hey, you didn't do a particularly good job, but we're going to give you $171 million severance package. $171 million severance package. They're paying the person who's CEO now something like $14 million a year. They're making billions of dollars a year in profit. They get $6 billion a year from the Defense Department for contracts. And I say to United Technologies that what you're doing is wrong, it is immoral, and you better change that policy. If a company like United Technologies wants to receive defense contracts paid for by the taxpayers of this country, they better start treating their workers with respect. You know, a couple of weeks ago, I was invited to a conference at the Vatican. And what that conference was about is what Pope Francis has been talking about for years. And that is how we create a moral economy. How do we create an economy that works for everybody, not just the few? How do we create an economy where a CEO does not get a severance package of $171 million while thousands of workers are thrown out on the streets? How do we create an economy in which we do not have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth? Now, in terms of trade policies, as I said, I have opposed every one of these disastrous trade policies. Secretary Clinton has supported virtually every one of them. When I hear her talking about her concerns for manufacturing in America, well, if you're concerned about manufacturing, don't support trade policies that have cost us. Is a very important part of what every president does. The most important foreign policy debate in the modern history of this country was over the war in Iraq. I heard and listened carefully to what Bush and Cheney and all the rest had to say in 2002. I voted against the war in Iraq. Secretary Clinton, then U.S. Senator from New York, heard the same evidence. She voted for the war in Iraq. Right now, there are millions of our people working for $8, $9, $10 an hour all over this country. You can't make it on $8, $9, $10 an hour. Secretary Clinton wants to raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour. That's a start. Doesn't go far enough. We need a $15 an hour. In Indiana, in Vermont, they're trying to survive throughout our country. They're trying to survive on $11,000, $12,000 a year Social Security. You do the arithmetic. Seniors and disabled vets cannot make it on $11,000, $12,000 a year. And then you got many of my Republican colleagues in the Senate and they hear that and they say, oh, okay, what we have to do is cut Social Security benefits. Last year, seniors got a 0 increase in their cost of living, all right? 0 interest, 0 increase. Now, how in God's name do you cut something below a 0 increase? I am running for President of the United States. But you knew that already. I know. I'm running for president because we live in the wealthiest country in the history of the world, but most people in this country don't know that. And you know why they don't know that? Because they're working 2 or 3 jobs. They're busy worrying about the future of their children. They're working 50 or 60 hours a week, and they are seeing almost all new income and wealth going to the top 1%. And together, we're going to stop that. Together, we are going to... economy that works for all of us, not just the 1%. Today, that we are going to create an economy which is based on morality, not on greed. Here are the facts, and you can digest them and do with them as you want, but this is the truth. Here in the United States of America today, the top 1/10 of 1% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%. Oh. Here in America today, the wealthiest 20 people own more wealth than the bottom half of America, 150 million people. Here in America, one family, the Walton family, owns Walmart. Number 2. The women of this country are tired of working for 79 cents. They want the whole damn dollar, and they're right. So together, we're going to pass pay equity for women. I was in Flint, Michigan a few months ago, and I saw something that I did not believe to be possible here in the United States of America. Children being poisoned by lead in the water in a collapsing water system. Now this is true not just in Flint, all over this country. We have hundreds of communities with inadequate water systems, inadequate wastewater plants. Our roads, our bridges are in disrepair. Our levees, our dams, our airports, and our rail system need an enormous amount of work. We can create 13 million good-paying jobs rebuilding the crumbling infrastructure in the United States. Imagine an America where our young people are building affordable housing in inner cities throughout this country. Imagine an America where your car doesn't disappear into some huge pothole. Imagine an America where we once again have the best rail system in the world. And when we talk about creating an economy that works for working people, we also have to address the international embarrassment of being the only major country on earth not to provide paid family and medical leave. Today, we don't talk about this very much, but it's the truth. Today in Indiana, today in Vermont, today in every state in this country, women are giving birth. And if that woman is low income, is working class, there is a strong likelihood that she will be forced to separate herself from her baby in 2 weeks, in 3 weeks, and go back to work in order to bring in the income. That is not what this country should be about. Moms and dads should have the right to stay home with their newborn babies. And that is why, elected president, we will have 3 months paid family and medical. Campaign, again, is thinking outside of the status quo. Not just accepting the options that the establishment gives to you. Everybody here knows that in a highly competitive global economy, we need the best educated workforce in the world. Everybody knows that as a nation we should be encouraging our people to get all of the education that they can. But today young people are asking me all over America, they're saying, you know, Bernie, we did what our parents said, we did what our teachers said, we went out, we got a great education. Why are we $30,000, $50,000, $70,000 in debt? There is no answer I can give other than to say, that's nuts. And then you got hundreds of thousands of bright young people today who can't go to college because their families lack the funds. You know, 50 years ago, in Vermont and Indiana, if you had a high school degree, you were doing pretty well. You could go out, everything being equal, and get a pretty good job, make it into the middle class. The world has changed, the economy has changed, technology has changed. People today need more education. For a long time in our nation's history, the idea of public education being first grade through 12th grade was a noble idea. It was a great idea. But the world has changed. And when we talk about public education today, we have got to be talking about making public colleges and universities tuition free. Anybody here think that that is a particularly radical idea? It is not. It exists in Germany, it exists in Scandinavia. Funny story. I was at a meeting in DC about a year ago. I was talking to a group of people and I said, well, you know, in Scandinavia, college is free. And some guy jumps up and says, no, Senator, you're wrong. It's not from Finland, it's not free. They actually pay us to go to college. Okay, so I was wrong. But what those countries understand is that for the long-term benefit of their nations, investing in their young people and their education is the smart thing to do.